Relations or education?
Did I say public relations? Now my mind is really on that. So VP of education. So if this is your first time as a VP of education, if you can show me some emojis. Okay. We have a couple. And have you served in this role more than 2 times? Okay, I do have a couple hands. 3, 4. All right. Now, if you served in this role more than 4 times, you know that you are well seasoned in this area. But I always let our individuals know, our club officers know, that it doesn't matter how many times you serve in your role. You're always going to learn something new. Always. Even when you go to club officers training, many people think that, oh, I already been to training last year, it can't be no different. No, you're always going to learn something new. My presentation is going to be about 40 minutes, and I really want to get you engaged and asking questions and just really sharing some experiences once I'm finished with this presentation, because we're all here to learn. So I'm going to open up my PowerPoint here. Hold on. So let me go ahead and share. Sometimes you can just forget. And then if you can mute yourself, that would be great. And let's go ahead and share. So we're all here to grow. Every year, again, we're always training, but we also need additional training so we can grow within our role, especially the Vice President of Education role. So I have a question for you. If I can get about 2 people to ask this question. What is being successful in your Vice President of Education club officers role? If I can get about 2 individuals. State your name. Okay. Is it Randy?
Yep. So my name is Randy. I'm from NDG Leaders in Montreal, Quebec. What is being successful as a VP education? It would be that members are signing up for doing speeches, and they're actually doing speeches, and we're having anywhere between 1 and 3 speeches per meeting.
Okay. Thank you so much. And that is truthful, because that is very successful. When you can get your members on the calendar speaking, that is success. Anyone else?
Yes. So I'm Ann Melanson, and I am representing Paces West Toastmasters in District 44. And for me, the successful Vice President of Education is one who has imparted knowledge to their members, and so the members understand how they're moving through pathways and what the importance of each and every project is.
Okay, great. And what you were touching on, and is something that I had read about, is how to track and see how your members are doing, how they're growing. And that's something you're going to learn today as well. And that's why I share that tracking, because being in this role, if you have like over 20 members, you definitely don't want to wait until the end of the year to track it. You definitely want to be consistent. So what I'm going to share with you is what Ralph Smedley, what his thoughts were about the VPE role in the Toastmasters organization. Now, Dr. Ralph Smedley, he is the founder of Toastmasters International. And so a couple things that he said that the VPE, which is the Vice President of Education, is pivotal in fostering the educational growth of club members, because he was really all about the evaluation. He was about giving the members what they need to be a better speaker and a better leader. But the most important thing, he wanted you to come with the information that you wanted to present, but he wanted you to have great evaluations so you can get stronger as a speaker. The VPE, he said, ensures that the meetings are well planned and members are given opportunities to develop their speaking and leadership skills. And then VPE's commitment to each member's progress is crucial to him for maintaining a vibrant and effective club. That's how you're going to retain your members, because you have to show that you're committed, that you really want to see your members progress. You want to show them that you really want them to grow. And when you're showing that leadership, that's what's going to keep your members coming back to the meetings and becoming more involved. And Dr. Smedley said that VPE helps uphold the core mission of Toastmasters to empower individuals to become more effective communicators and leaders. And that's why we're all here, because we feel the effects of his work, his mission, everything that he set up, which is a process to make sure that our members are effective by our leadership. Now, what you're going to learn today is something that you're going to take back to your club and that you're going to work on. For those who this is your first time, this is going to be great for you, because you're going to set the example and you're going to set up systems that's going to be good for you. And then whoever's coming after you, you can share that information. And then those who are very seasoned, this is going to be something that if you serve in this role, you can add more to your role. So the first thing you're going to learn is, how do you start? So the start of your VP of Education role, which is the first, we're in the first 3 months. We're in September. So whatever you're learning today, you have to ask yourself, am I doing this right now? And what do I need to do to up it, to make sure that everything is starting in the right way? Because you don't want to wait until January where things are going to start moving fast. So the next thing is planning. Planning is key. How many of you believe in benchmarking? Meaning you have deadlines, you have your goals set. I hope you do, because it's very important in this VPE role, because you are the face of the education. And then how to increase engagement in pathways. Now, when we speak of engagement in pathways and engagement overall in Toastmasters, this is something where a lot of clubs are suffering within engagement. And so you're going to learn how to engage your members and then how to retain them as well. So the first thing I want to talk about is the start of your VP of Education role. So the first thing is that I always think is very important in the beginning of your year is that you introduce yourself to your club members via email. Get them excited about this year, about the speech contest, any open houses that you're going to have. This is something that you really want to see your members excited about, because why? They see your excitement. So when you're committed, you're excited, you're sending out the email, now they're going to expect something is coming forward. Because remember, our members are looking up to us and they love events. How many of you have events in your club? Okay. Yes. So you want to continue having those events, because this is all about commitment. You want to have a vision. So every year, Toastmasters is all about the Distinguished Club Plan. That program is very important. Not only is your president setting the vision, but the VPE role is in that plan. So you want to make sure that your members are committed to the vision, especially to their Pathways education program, so they can achieve as well. Because if there's no vision, there's just a club. And there's no excitement, there's no engagement. Your members start to drop off. And then now we're back at the drawing board trying to get more members. So you really want to have a vision for the year and be committed and have everybody on board. The next thing is have a process for your club members to sign up. How many of you, and maybe you can have about one or two, can you tell me, how do you get your members involved to signing up for a speaking role? If I can get about one or two, and if you can share. And
Okay, so what we do, we utilize Free Toast, and our meetings are on Tuesday night. So at the end of every meeting, we ask for people to sign up for roles for that for the following meeting, for the next meeting. And then about on Thursday, a couple of days after the meeting, I send out the preliminary agenda where people then can sign up. And then I might send out requests for meeting roles or speaking roles if they aren't filled, you know, on a timely basis.
okay, thank you so much, Ann. I think that's really great to have them sign up after the meeting, because it does get things started. And sometimes you fill the whole agenda immediately, depending on how many members you have within that meeting. Anyone else want to share a process that they use to get their members involved to signing up for a meeting or a speaking role?
I'll go again.
Oh, all right, Randy.
So I have a Google document that I print out of all the, I think I go for about 4 months. And at each meeting, I give it out. And there's all the roles, every single role for speeches for evaluators. And it circulates throughout the meeting. And people sign up most of the time. I have my roles are all filled for the next meeting most of the time. And right now we have a waiting list for speakers.
Oh, wow.
Until October. Because if you have a pipeline, right? Then people see
Yes.
people are signed up, everybody wants to speak. So
Exactly.
I'm booked till the end of October. All speeches.
That is wonderful. I like that, because one, you can see the engagement with your members, and that they really want to become better speakers and being evaluated. So that's great that you have that engagement. Thank you, Randy. Now that I'm talking about engagement within your vice president role, like I said earlier, when you are engaged, your members are engaged. Now, I have heard some members that say, I hate pathways. I'm like, no, you can't say that, because one, that is a negative effect on your club, on your leadership, and then also the engagement with your members. So always stay engaged, regardless what you're thinking, keep them engaged at all costs. So let's talk about the planning. So planning in this role as a vice president of education is two-part. We have club meetings, and we also have the Pathways Education Program. So I broke them down into the 3 C's and the 3 A's. So for club meetings, you want to have club member engagement, which meaning you want to have that commitment from them. You want them to understand why they need to sign up, because one, they are not only becoming better speakers and being evaluated, but they're also taking on a role within a meeting that's considered leadership. And leadership, not just the title, but listening, time management, giving effective feedback. So when we break it down to our members on why it's important for them to sign up, that's when you have increased engagement. Communication, always communicating with your members. I wouldn't want you to start communicating the day of the meeting. That would not work. We want to make sure that you're after that club meeting, a couple of days, follow up. Let them know we have a meeting that's coming up within a couple of weeks. We want you to be signed up for a role. We want you to start working on your presentation. If you have a mentoring program, contact your members, tell them, get with your mentor, start writing out your speech and practice. This is something, like I said, that Dr. Smedley was really keen on evaluations. So we really want our members to understand when we're communicating with them that it's important to start planning your speeches. Because one, you want to make sure you're getting effective evaluations and you become a better speaker. And then also the third C is commitments. So we really want to see our Vice President of Education showing full commitments, meaning you're showing the example of a VPE that you do care about your members' growth. That's why you're here. You're here to understand, how can I engage with my club members so they can be more committed? But it starts with you. As a leader, you have to show the prime example of a club leader. And because you are the example, this is where Pathways Education falls on you. I think I have somebody in the chat. Okay, all right, here we go. I just want to make sure that I'm not missing anyone. Let me hide this here. All right, so with Pathways Education, of course, you know that you're responsible for this role. And so with this role here, hold on for a minute, is the assessment. So the assessment is very important when it comes down to your members, to make sure that they're in the right path, that they're wanting to take this path to the next level. So they must take the assessment. If this is your first time in this role, when you're doing your one-on-ones with your new member, make sure they take that assessment when they're with you. That way, you know that they are enrolled, and now they're about to create that action plan. When I first started in Toastmasters, there was no Pathways. It was the Legacy program. How many of you remember the Legacy program? Yes. I went to my first conference, and someone who's very seasoned in District 30, she said, so what are your goals? I thought she was silly. I thought she lost her mind. I told her, I'm just in Toastmasters just to be a better speaker. And she said, no, you have to have goals. And I ran. But I went to my first timers meeting, and Valerie Fuson said, how many of you are new Toastmasters? And I raised my hand. She said, many of you will not be here next year. I said, oh, who does she think she is? And I set my goals because I had to prove to her that I was going to be here. I didn't know that Toastmasters was that serious, and that you have seasoned speakers and leaders who are setting the example, who want you to be committed and set those action plans. And that's where application comes in at. Application is key. When you're talking to your new member or your current members, you have to let them know that don't let your Pathways Education program just fall from the wayside. Don't let it just sit there in the system and you don't apply it. Not only are you speaking it, you're applying it. And I'll give you an example. For myself, I did Pathways motivation strategies, and I did level 4, and I released a podcast last year, September 27th of 2023. And that came from my path. And guess what? The podcast is still going strong today. It's Valerie's Real Talk podcast. And it can be heard on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, but it was birthed through Pathways. And that's why I really want you to really look at all the different paths, look at all the different projects, and how can your members apply that in their everyday life. And it's just that effective. So now we're going to talk about the Vice President of Education strategies, the tracking your members' progress. This is where you're going to be their responsible one. They're also going to be responsible too. But you have to make sure in the beginning you set up your process. Don't wait until June 30th. It's hard because you have to go back into your free Toast host, go through all those agendas if you can't get it through the Pathways, and it can be difficult. So you really want to set goals. Like I talked about goals as a member, but now you're the leader and you want to define and document your members' goals in the beginning when they first start. Even with your season, actual members, you want to know, what are your goals? You've been with us for like 5-10 years. What are your goals? Track your members' path through the Pathways tracker. I share that with you in the chats. I'll share it again, but this is something that our Chief Pathways Manager, her name is Sandra Washington. She created this Pathways tracker because it's good for you to track your members. When did they finish their level 1, their 2 and 3? What date were they awarded this actual path? Because not only are they finishing up their path, but they can go on the journey and become an area director. They could be on the journey to doing other things such as mentoring a club, so they can get their Distinguished Toastmasters Award. So we have to get our members to understand why it's important to keep moving along in their pathways, because they can continue growing within the district, within the club, up to area, division, and district. You want to check in regularly. I think it's very important to have a brief one-on-one with your members, because sometimes, life can happen. We all work, time gets away from us. But however, you as a Vice President of Education, you have to have that strategy to keep in touch with your members at all costs. Because even though they have a mentor, that doesn't replace you as a Vice President of Education. Sometimes that can happen where we think, oh, they have a mentor, I don't have to check in on them. But I think it's great to have it. And you can make it either monthly or you can do it quarterly. And I think quarterly is good because, one, you can see their progress and you can share the reports with them. Now, for your new members, you definitely want to welcome them and you want to assign them a mentor. How many of you have a mentoring development program within your club? Okay, and you can put that in the chat. I'll look at it later. But I think it's very important that you do have a mentor program. The reason why I say that, because it helps you with retaining your members. It increases engagement. And not only that, you see things are happening within the club. They probably want to do more. They probably want to be part of your committee, things of that nature. So it's really important that you personalize that welcome, you assign them a mentor, and help them with their first 3 speeches. I think that's very crucial. And then recognize achievements. You as the VPE, not only are you tracking, but you're also seeing their progress and how far they have grown. How many of you have recognition achievements within your club? And let me get one person to state how they recognize their members. If you can state your name in your club. Anyone? wants to share how they recognize their members' achievements?
I'll do.
Hi, it's Linda
Hi, Jenna.
Rumney from District 45 in New Brunswick. Well, 4 provinces and 3 US states on the East
Okay.
Coast up north. And we do have the opportunity in the meeting when they've achieved their level. I'll announce that in the VPE section of the agenda. We will put it on Facebook, and I've got a selection of ribbons, so we make sure they've got something to take home too.
All right, great. I remember those days. I love being in person to give those ribbons, trophies, and you see their face light up. And that's what keeps them coming, because they want to get more ribbons and then they put it at home. But it's great because one, it shows that you really care and you really want to see them grow. And as you see on this here picture, it says start your journey today. Toastmasters is a journey for leaders as well as club members. And I know that people want to really, excel fast and fast. But I said like this, is that in Toastmasters, just enjoy the journey. And before you know it, 10 years has passed, and you're going to look back, you say, I did all that. And it's going to be amazing. And that's why you're amazing. That's why you're here. So I shared the link with you in the chat. This is the actual Pathways tracker. And so this is where you're going to put your member's name, the path they selected, and who is the mentor. And then your track when they did the icebreaker, whatever the one that they're on. This is always level 1. Level 1 looks just like this. They're all the same. But as they go up in the different levels, it's based on the path that they've chosen, especially the projects and the electives. So it's very important that you start tracking now. If you haven't, it doesn't matter. Start now. That's the most important thing I can ever tell anyone that's a leader. Don't be hard on yourself. That's the most important thing, is that you must start now. So I want to talk to you about Pathways Club member engagement. I told you earlier that we do have what we call these gurus. They go to different divisions in the clubs in those divisions to get their members engaged in Pathways. You, as a VPE, you want to be the face of Pathways. You want to increase the engagement. And that engagement will be, again, recognition. It can be that you want them to be a part of an open house to talk about Pathways, because everybody wants to be a part of something. Again, events are very important. So bringing in a Pathways guru. If you don't have that in your district, you can start talking to your district director, program quality director, and say, hey, we want some gurus too. We want some engagement that's happening. Because one, if you bring somebody in from the division and they're talking about Pathways, how to start your journey, how to goal set, this is something that having events is going to really engage your members to start now. Take a club member survey on your Pathways program. Sometimes you need to meet your members where they are, because maybe it could be that if you don't have a mentoring program and you just take their fee and you say, welcome to Toastmasters, and there is no process. Now they just have to figure it out on their own, but we really don't want that to happen. So you really want to do a club member survey to see how everything is going with your members from new to your very season. And it will tell you what you need to do as a VPE of education. How many of you have heard this in many clubs that you know, or people that you know, that they have a lack of engagement within their club? This is happening a lot, not just with the Pathways just the club overall. So it's very important when you start hearing this and you start seeing your members leave your club, now you got to figure out what's really going on. That's why that survey is very important, because if there's a lack of engagement, we have to figure out what can you do to get them engaged. Are we listening to our members? Are we having theme meetings? Like, maybe we want to dress up for Halloween and have a Halloween theme. These are things that you can do as a VPE to spice up your pathways program, your meetings. We want to keep members engaged. And that's the only way you're going to grow members. So I like the fact when I was at the convention, they have what you call a +1 pledge. It's like a 1+ pledge. And it's for members to bring in a guest. So you can start an incentive for those members, bring it in the guests, but they can take the pledge on Toastmasters.org. And that makes them feel like they're part of something. It's like a sense of belonging and introducing Toastmasters. Now, before we go into our Q&A, I do have a call to action for you. And it's very important. So what that is that I want you to empower your club. You are the driving force. You know that, right? VP of Education, you hear it all the time that you have a lot of work. But however, because you're all about the growth, you're all about the success of your members, to make sure that not only are they learning pathways, but they are applying it to become better, and they're using it in their everyday life. That's the thing they have to understand, what Pathways is all about and what Toastmasters is all about. Is where leaders are made and to become better speakers and better leaders. The next thing is that you want to lead with confidence. Even though some VPs of education feel overwhelmed by a lot of moving pieces, but you want to lead by example. You want to show your full commitment to your members. You want to thrive in guiding them and engaging the members. When they see that you're engaged, they're going to be engaged. When you say, I like Toastmasters and I love Pathways and how it's really grown me, then guess what? They're going to do the same thing as well. And you're building their confidence by giving them the resources that they need to be a better Toastmaster as a speaker and a leader. And the next thing, engage with other vice presidents of education, club officers, and that's why we're here. I want you to share your information in the chat, because we got VPs of education from different parts of the world, and we all can learn from each other. And that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to learn from each other, because I think it's very important that we understand that you're not alone. You're not alone in your club. You're not alone in your district. Me, as a program quality director, I call myself a VPE in the district, because that's who I am. It's all about the quality. It's all about the quality of the training materials. Is everybody in the district learning from our Toastmasters Leadership Institute? Do we have the right education training for them so they can grow and take it back to their club? So think about that on a larger scale at club level. What are you bringing to the table to make sure that the vision is plain, that the goals are set, and that your members are applying what they learn? Even if it's in a club setting, are they growing? And that is the question. So I'm going to stop sharing here. And I really want you to start engaging. Like, it's September, right? What have you been doing right now to make sure that your members are fully engaged? Because engagement is very important. So if I can get, if you can use your hand, I really want you to use a digital hand if you want to speak. I really want you to share, how are you engaging and bringing engagement within your club? So we're going to start with Ann Hancock.
We have, good evening, everyone. I'm Anne Hancock from Hero Speakers Toastmasters Club in Australia. We engage by, as Valerie said, it's important to have events. We will have a social event quarterly to keep people engaged socially, because the Toastmasters meeting can feel like it's quite a professionally run meeting, set to an agenda, and you're very time focused. Whereas we have barbecues out in the public when the weather's nice. We do have an event every 3 months, but also the Vice President Education is always engaging with his members. We've also found it very helpful having a WhatsApp group, because that is a lot more, it's immediate, but it's also more casual. And everyone
Yes.
engages by that, even if you put a gift there saying, thank God it's Friday, or happy spring, just something funny. That's how we
Exactly. Thank you so much. And that's great that you say you have a WhatsApp. I think that's really great because it keeps everybody connected, engaged, just to see what's going on in their Toastmasters world, to be honest. But it's great that you have social events. Something that I did learn years ago, that instead of saying we're having a club meeting, say you're having a club event. It just replaces the word meeting, because this individual told me at the district council that how many meetings do you go to at work? And then you hear, we got a club meeting. But if you say club event, it raises the engagement, and individuals are ready to come to the club event instead of club meeting. So thank you so much for sharing. And we have Robert McKenzie.
Hi, thank you, Madam Program Quality Director, fellow Toastmasters from around the world in District 103. I am Robert McKenzie. I'm the District 103 Division G Director this year, but I'm also the Homewood Flossmoor Toastmasters Vice President of Education. And I just want to give a real quick example of what can drive engagement for everyone's clubs. And that is spending one-on-one time. I mean, I know we talked about it a little bit with the mentoring, that's a part of it, but spending one-on-one time during onboarding to make sure that new Toastmasters feel comfortable and that they're welcomed properly and fully informed and ready to begin their journey. We have a new member at Homewood Flossmoor. His name is Eddie Traylor. I'm sure he wouldn't mind me sharing his name, but he sent me the sweetest note this week before he gave his icebreaker. He gave his icebreaker last night, in fact. And he thanked me for spending the amount of time that I did with him to make sure that he was onboarded and make sure that he was pathways enabled and make sure he had all the tools that he felt confident to get on the agenda and give his icebreaker speech within 2-3 weeks of joining. I'm sorry, not probably a month of joining. I'm sorry, we were so backlogged on the speaking docket that he didn't give his icebreaker till last night. But he brought a friend, and because of that level of trust and comfortability that he had, he was already advocating and inviting friends to the club meeting. And so we'll get 2 new members from just the Vice President of Education spending the time. And I know that our time is very precious, but it is well spent here in Toastmasters when we can take that one-on-one time with our new Toastmasters, get them onboarded, and they take the baton and run. So that's all I had to say. Thank you for a very, very nice presentation this evening. And I love the events. So we'll start calling our meetings events. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Robert, for sharing. Yes, events are the best thing. I believe that events really increases not just engagement, but like Robert said, you get more members, new members in your club. Anyone else wants to share, how they increase engagement within their club? Because that is a number one thing that's happening, is lack of engagement. Especially if you noticed it in your club, how did you overcome it? If you want to share. Linda.
Yes, hi, thank you. I just did a real quick thing at our first September meeting the other night. I pulled out the promise. Remind everybody what the Toastmasters promise is, and I handed each one out individually on slips and got people to read it and give what it means to them. That way they had to think about it. They don't want to disappoint me because they know how much time I invest in them. And it really made a great meeting. And our club growth director was there. And sorry, I keep going blurry. I'm so sorry. And he was really glad to see something like that happen. He says that's going to help us because we need to grow.
Yes. Thank you so much, Linda. We have Jennifer Riddle.
I was just going to mention, I just completed a speechcraft. I'm from Fort Worth, Blue Castle Collaborators, and we had a very successful speechcraft, 5 speech crafters, 2 join. One's going to join soon. And they both come in with level 1s completed, and there's 2 of the strongest Toastmasters in our club because they give speeches, they take roles, they feel very comfortable. So I really love the speechcraft opportunity that we have.
That's awesome. I know that speechcraft is something that we did in our club at South Luke Speak Freaks, and it's so engaging. And once you have the graduation, you see everybody feel like they have accomplished something, and you do get the new members. And this is something that District 103 is going to be hosting soon with Cheryl Roche. She's going to be introducing speechcraft to our district, and it's going to be a process, but it's going to be great to get that out to our members to let them know you too can have a speechcraft and grow your membership. Randy.
So what we do for those that are back in person, I make sure that we have a minimum of 10-minute break, sometimes 15 minutes, so people can mingle and talk and also have snacks. Because people, they are really happy. They say, oh, I come to the meeting for the snacks.
Yes.
And people are really engaged. I find that really the time to mingle.
Yes.
Very helpful.
I think the mingling part is important because, of course, we know as Toastmasters, we love to talk. I have a nephew, and he knows that as a Toastmaster, when we get on the phone, he asked me, how long have you been speaking? And I said, maybe about 45 minutes. He said, that is incorrect. He said 2 hours, right? So that's the greatest thing about Toastmasters, is that it's a great community. Now, I do want to go to another question, and mentoring has been something that's been on the radar. And I know I couldn't see, hardly the hands because I was presenting with a PowerPoint. How many of you have a mentoring development program in your club? Okay, we got 1, 2, 3. Okay, so it's very important, and Robert, okay. So it's very important that you start incorporating a mentoring program within your club. And I tell you why. One is that not only as a VPE, you have that one-on-one communication, and you're tracking and you're making sure that they're set up for success with pathways. But however, you want to get them with a mentor who is seasoned, that's going to help them activate and speak well. Remember, Dr. Ralph Smetley was all about the evaluation. Even though he did not want his education program to be a module, he did not want it to be any kind of education related. So I don't know if he would have liked pathways, but he liked the actual manuals. But his main focus was effective evaluations. And I read this in his book, Personally Speaking. And if you haven't read that book by Dr. Ralph Smetley, you have to read it. It's the whole history about how to run a club, how to evaluate, just all the different roles that you take on as a Toastmaster. He gives his perspective at a Toastmasters level and why it was created. And that's what's going to make you a better VPE, because one, you will understand his mission and why Toastmasters was created in the first place. So if you do have a mentoring program, how did the mentoring program help your club and your club members? And if you can come up and just share with everyone who doesn't have a mentoring program. Okay, Linda.
For our club, it's given the experienced members a new confidence that they are reaching out and helping people in a way that they know they can, because they've already done, like most of them did the CC manual, CL manual, the advanced communicator levels. They've done all of that part, so they're getting into pathways, and it's easier for them to share with the newer member how Toastmasters program in general works and moving forward in pathways. So it's giving them confidence and contentment with pathways, which was definitely a little fight with some people. But it
Yes.
helps the new person to see that everybody's working together. I keep emphasizing we're a team. We all work together. Nobody's in this alone. And by having someone else be their mentor besides me being at the helm as VP Ed, it shows them that we are working together.
Exactly. And I think that's the very most important thing, is that look at it as a team, because you can have the same person mentoring, but we definitely want to get everybody on board to be that support for our new members that are coming on board. Anyone else want to share their experience of having a mentoring program in their club and how it's really affected your club in terms of growth?
I'll just say
Robert.
this, thank you for allowing the space. I'll just say this, by virtue of having a mentoring program, of course, delivered by our most experienced members, new members are welcomed and their hands are held. The support that they may need or feel comfortable with, they're offered, and it ensures that they have a fighting chance at experiencing the wonders and vast benefits of Toastmasters. So many times we've seen with members who are not supported coming in, just them coming, attending a couple of meetings, and then getting whisked away with the busyness of other areas of their lives, which all of us can be. But with the mentoring, you're building in the continual engagement and support. So their experience with Toastmasters is not just on the meeting day. And that is really the best way for clubs to grow that engagement. You are creating community and you're welcoming those new members into your club's community right away with the mentoring program. Thanks.
All right. Thank you so much, Robert, for sharing. Because, it's all about that engagement and, getting everybody involved. at club level, and then making sure that engagement stays. I know that we're coming to the end. Just want to let you know that each one of you will be receiving the actual PowerPoint that was shared today, as well as the recording. We usually put these recordings on our YouTube, which is D103 Toastmasters YouTube channel, where we put all our education there, where you can go back and, and listen to them, because it's very important, whoever's coming after you, they can go to these videos as well on how to grow as a vice president of education. Each month, we will have something that's going to be coming up. It probably won't be on Pathways. There'll probably be a guest speaker that will come on to talk on a different topic for you so you can grow. Because there's so many things that we do as VPEs, and it's not just Pathways. I mean, we do open houses, we do education programs, and just things that you can do to increase that engagement. Again, no more meetings, events, because that's what's going to drive, you're going to be that driving force. But remember, you're not alone. Build a committee. If you feel like you're overwhelmed, have a committee, start training your members to be in part of your team so they can learn and they can be your successor as well. So if you have not shared your contact information within the chat, please do so, because we got some great people here from different areas, and you never know, maybe you'll be a speaker at one of their events, or or maybe if you're in the area, you can go and visit their club. But I really want you to really hone in on your skills as a VPE, and I want to see you very successful, to be honest, because I believe in this year, because it is the 100-year centennial, I really want you to be engaged, especially next month is October, I think it's October 24th. Is it 24th or 22nd? I got it right, 24th. So be thinking about having an event, a celebration to celebrate Toastmasters 100-year anniversary. I think that'll be great, and that'll set up a lot of engagement. So I just want to say thank you for attending the first VP of Education Excellence workshop and a series, because you're going to learn throughout the year. I believe in growth, and I want to see you successful in everything that you do. All right. And that'll be the end of our training, but I'll make sure that I take everybody's emails down here and make sure I probably just put that on a spreadsheet and then share it with everyone, because I just think it's important that we all connect and that we learn from each other. And if we do need each other, we can work together. All right, and everyone have a great night. And I'll see you next month.
Thank you, Valerie.
Bye.
Thank you, Valerie.
Thanks,
Valerie.
All right.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks a
Thanks for
lot,
this
Valerie.
training
Thanks so
event.
much.
You're welcome. Have a great
Bye.
evening.
Great job. Take care,
Yeah.
everybody. Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.